Okay, now welcome everybody. Today I'm going to talk about happiness, and happiness can of course mean different things to different people. What makes one person happy can be totally unimportant for another, or even make somebody angry, for example, using Comic Sans. So, happiness. I'm going to start with this quote, which I think is a very good example of how the world works today. Everybody thinks everything is amazing, extraordinary, whatever, and we're not really thinking about what makes us happy as a creative. So, I guess some of you probably heard this before. I have, when talking to people that are not creative and I explain what I do, I often hear this: it's so cool you turned your hobby into your profession. That's of course is also true, but it's also important to remember that when you're doing something you love for money, that doesn't always work out quite the way you want it. Because when you're a creative professional, you have to deal with clients. Now, I'm not going to talk about how bad clients are. We all know that. There are enough websites around for that. But I do like to point out this website. If you don't know it, go check it out. It's great fun. So, the best solution I have found to be a creative.
Previous slide. Missed it.
Went too quick. Okay. Yes. So the best way I have found to be a happy creative is to do self-initiated work or side projects. Those words basically mean the same thing, but I like to call it self-initiated because side projects sound somewhat less important, something you just do on the side. But I think self-initiated work is actually really important, or as important as client work. So why is that? Self-initiated work allows you to do the things you love without compromise. You don't have to deal with clients. Client work can sometimes be some kind of compromise. You have your own creative ideas, the client has his ideas. So it's a compromise, and with self-initiated work that's not the case. You can do exactly what you want when you want it. Of course, happiness isn't the only aspect of self-initiated work that's good. There are other things that, self-initiated work is good for. The first is to show yourself. In this age where we all can be creative, we all have the same tools, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever. So it is really important to make yourself stand out from the rest. And self-initiated work is a very good example for that. Because client work, probably the things you can do, somebody else can do also. So it is more about what you think about certain subjects. I, for example, really like nature. I think it's important. So I've decided to do some self-initiated work in which I made some posters concerning global warming. And it not only was really nice to work on, but also gave me great contacts in that field. I got new assignments for organizations that care about nature. I had talks with the World Wildlife Fund, so that's really great way to broaden your network for organizations you really like to work with. Another aspect of self-initiated work is, of course, it's one playground. You can experiment, you can try new things, and if you fail, it doesn't matter because nobody has to see it. If it does work out, you might have developed something really cool that you can use later on for other projects. So I'm going to show you some of my experiments. Most are the self-initiated work, some are for exhibitions, and there's also a project I did with other designers, but it's all non-client work. So I really tried a lot of different things just to find out for myself what things I really like. So that's experiment. Of course, you always, in this industry, there's also the part of money. Now, we all know money does not equal happiness, but it's also important to think about when you start a self-initiated project that money isn't the goal. Of course, you can make money with your project, and that's just fine, but if you start your self-initiated project with the goal to become rich of it, it's not going to work out, because why are we here? To be happy. So self-initiated projects should be about happiness and not about money. Now, I'd like to talk about one of my biggest projects, this is the Slice Pixel project. Perhaps you already seen it. And it was a great project to work on. It's actually already a quite old project. But it was a really nice experiment, and when it hit the web, it became really quite popular. A lot of blogs writing about it. And I started to receive a lot of emails from people that really liked the work and wanted to buy posters of it. So that was really cool, because I didn't have that much attention for my work before. So now I got it, and it was really great to hear all the reactions of people that like my work. And a lot of questions were about, can I buy it as a poster or a card or whatever. So I decided to go and sell posters, which was a big mistake. Because what happened, I got some posters printed, I sent them out, everybody was happy, I was happy. I started making money with my self-initiated work, and that was all just going quite well. But then, of course, I started to send posters to people farther away, like America, and these posters arrived damaged, didn't arrive at all. I had to deal with refunds, mailing, calling the delivery company, and the whole project became, well, not so fun. After some time, I then got contacted by a printing company in London called Pictures on Walls. It's a screen printing company for mainly street artists like Banksy, gets his work printed there. So it's really quite a big name in that industry. And they contacted me because they wanted to try and silkscreen one of my prints. As you know, silkscreen printing, you print only one color at a time. This artwork has 350 colors on it, so that might seem like a big challenge. But we came up with a quite a good way of printing it. It was 10 colors of ink on top of each other, each triangle a different tone, and on top they create this print with 350 colors on it. So it was a really cool project. I had to fly to London to sign these prints, to see the shop. It was really an amazing experience. Those prints are still for sale now. And the good part is I'm still selling those prints, but I don't have to deal with shipping them, getting them printed. So it's a fun project again. Of course, the self-initiated project can become quite a business model later on. This is the work I did for Nike. Great example of how a self-initiated project became bigger than just a project for yourself and became something you can later use for clients. This is a shirt collection for the summer edition of last year. So it was really great to work with such a company, also such a project, with a technique I developed myself. Well, of course, there's the aspect of time. Surely you don't have time for self-initiated work because, well, you have to do client work, you have to eat, you have to make money. So that's an important thing to decide for yourself how much time you want to spend on such work. There are companies like Google in which you have 20% of your time available for self-initiated work. Well, I guess for most of you that might seem like a daunting task to give up 20% of your time to do work in which you don't really make money. But I think I don't have time for such things is a bit of a lame excuse, because if you really want it, you can find time to do such things. And of course, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. So I'm going to talk about my latest project I did. It's a self-initiated work yet again. And it's a project I did together with my colleague, Martijn Boskamp. And it's basically a project that started out of boredom. We work at the studio together in Rotterdam. And sometimes, well, there isn't that much to do. This project originated in the beginning of the crisis, so we didn't have too much work to be doing. And the project is basically about a pig and a beaver, and they're both very grumpy, and they basically do nothing. So, great project. And this is also a quite big project, so a lot of planning was necessary to make this happen. We decided to make this a real project last year. So in December the website went live. Well, it's not really that big yet, but it's the first phase of hopefully many things to come. But the important thing was this was the type of illustration we did for ourselves for a couple of months. And then on a certain point we decided to make it available for others. So we decided to make the website. And then of course you have to make a commitment to yourself to keep updating it, because it's now public. And if you want other people to enjoy it, you have to keep updating it with different things. So this was for New Year. And those two characters, well, we like them very much, so we hope other people will do also. But the main thing here is it's a place for us to do something we like next to our work and to experiment also with new things. So I've built a website myself. I'm not really a web developer, but it was a nice chance to try and learn something new. And also we're currently working together with somebody else who's making an iPad app for us with those characters in it. I'm not going to show you anything about the app, but it's a great way to learn new things, to experiment, and basically to do things you really like. So this is the 18. And this was for Christmas. And we also started to make little animations. And as you see, there basically doesn't happen anything really important. But it was a nice experiment for us, because we're not animators, I do a lot of illustration work, but I have never done animation, so that was a great project to try and learn something new. So that's already almost the end of my presentation, and I would like to leave you with this. Don't be a 9-to-5 creative, be creative outside your work. Find projects to do for yourself, things you really like, things you care about. Experiment, fail, learn, perfect your skills, and above all, be a happy creative. Thank you.